Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So before I get on with some of my more well-researched works that I have planned, it's time for me first to do a quick little video based on info I gathered sometime last year, but then I decided at the time that there really was far too little to go on to make a full video about. But I've decided to actually do it anyway now because this is important information for the public to know about. So this is going to be about why you can't always trust those numbers provided by crowdfunding websites such as Kickstarter, Indiegogo, etc. Or at least the total funding number. So the story basically begins with a little company called Wayside Creations. They're probably best known for their Nuka Break video series, which were a series of short fan films that they put on YouTube set in the Fallout universe, which was so popular in fact that one of the weapons in the Fallout New Vegas Gunrunners Arsenal DLC is named after the videos. Anyway, after going to Kickstarter to successfully fund the second season of their Nuka Break video series in 2013, they then started work on another Kickstarter funded project, a video series based on the Legend of Grimrock video game series, which was funded in early 2014. This is of course when all the trouble started. So according to a group of 4 of the original creators of Wayside Creations and former shareholders in the company who blew the lid on all of this, what was going on behind the scenes in July 2016, the money from the Kickstarter was blown really quickly after it was received, and then the people who were originally supposed to write, direct and star in the series were all slowly being pushed out of the company after they began asking questions about where the Kickstarter money went, what it was all spent on, and all of those things. And the most disturbing aspect of the allegations that these people were making about the company is what their investigation into the company's records was showing, which was that in essence the original Kickstarter amount was falsely inflated in a fraudulent scheme, which I will call Raking for the sake of giving it a cool sounding name and for reasons I'll get to shortly. So from the very beginning, the Kickstarter project was misrepresented to the public. So basically how the scheme worked was like this. On February the 1st, 2014, the Legend of Grimrock Kickstarter closed with a total of $121,000. What was off about this though was that according to sources who had at least some access to the company's records, 65,750 of that total was faked, so over half the funding. Now the method by how it was faked is what I'm going to explain here. In essence, what the company did was to begin issuing loans to private investors just before the Kickstarter got started. So private investors were loaning the company large amounts of money. The date of which the company got the loan on the loan note that I have is the 21st of January, so about 2 weeks before the Kickstarter ended, and this is an unnamed individual here who loaned the company $4,500 with the condition that the money be repaid starting on the 28th of February, just after the Kickstarter closed. So this is a very short-term loan, and in exchange for this, the person lending them the money got to be paid interest of $1,000, so it's a really good return for just 2 months of a loan. And this is too much of a coincidence, the timing, to say that this was a loan for anything else but stuffing the Kickstarter. So what we have so far is evidence of a fraudulently stuffed Kickstarter, which of course is against Kickstarter's terms. Now, why would you do this? Because as the title of the Democratic PAC goes, early money is like yeast. If you can show a lot of financial interest in your project early on, then you're in a good position for press attention and things like that, getting featured on Kickstarter and all sorts of stuff, which has the effect of attracting real people's money. This is sort of like a traditional con where you have the last phase being an in and in, where you put your money into a fraudulent scheme to get other people to put their money into the scheme because they think, well, if you're going to risk your money, then I might as well risk mine. And then of course we get to the really bad part. After funding their Kickstarter, according to the people who left Wayside Creations, the company then paid out interest on all of these loans from the Kickstarter money, about $6,600 of which, all of that real back as money. Now this is where I would call this rank and file fraud. That is, you're taking money from people for one purpose and then using that money for something else completely different, like paying off the investors you used to stuff your Kickstarter with. And if it doesn't currently currently attract the attention of law enforcement, this kind of behavior in the long run might soon. But anyway, that's how the scheme works, and that's why you can't always trust Kickstarter funding numbers. So basically it goes, step 1, create a Kickstarter. Step 2, get loans from private investors by offering them decent double-digit returns. Step 3, put those loans towards your Kickstarter goals. Step 4, the public are drawn into the project because it looks successful. Step 5, when your project is fully funded, repay the loans out of the Kickstarter money, including interest. Step 6, profit. Of course, what makes this little scheme so terrifying though is how difficult it is to detect. I mean, without inside information, the only way that you could try and detect it would be to look at when the larger stretch goals are bought out very closely, and even then you've only got a circumstantial case. And Kickstarter does try and keep on top of this stuff, but even then, I mean, in this example, this is only known to the public because some of the creators of the project had a falling out and found out that backer money was being used to pay off short-term private loans to investors. The implications for crowdfunding itself, though, are worth considering as well. I mean, how many of these project totals can the public trust? And of course, things are much worse on Indiegogo, where you can claim money even if you don't make your funding goal. In this case, you could put thousands of your own money in via various fake accounts and whatever, and then even if you didn't hit the goal, you'd still get your money back at a very minimum, and if anyone really invested in you, you could just take their money. I mean, yes, it's illegal, yes, you'll probably have law enforcement after you, but it's still a brilliant scam in the making. Hell, you could even say that you have technical problems and can't deliver on what you promised. I guess that what I'm saying at the end of the day is that all of this is another reason to be careful of who you fund on these platforms. I've been Dangerous Analysis. I'll be back soon with an actual video. Thank you to my patrons and subscribers, and as always,
good night and good luck.